Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today I'm going to be showing you why BROODMOTHER is broken. The current version of Brood is very simply way too strong. It really is. It makes no sense. The hero loses basically no lanes, at least not that I've seen. And yeah, so if you're looking for some free MMR, you just want to stomp some games, frankly in most roles, core roles, yes, you could probably play Brood as a safe laner and do fine, but mostly as a mid and an offlaner, you're just gonna stomp. And here's the main reason why, okay? We'll get into the replay, we'll look at some examples as he dominates the enemy team, but let's look at some of the spells. So, number one, you have Spin Web at level 1. It gives you 3 HP regen. So right then and there, you're a 3 armor hero with built-in stout shield with an extra 3 HP regen. Okay, that's gonna make you pretty dang tanky, especially considering the fact that you can run through the trees and avoid a lot of the damage. Now, on top of that, because yes, it gets better than that, at level 2, you get 70% lifesteal and 35 bonus damage for 50 mana, which basically means that you, full heal. So this hero's broken. I mean, it literally can't die, and then it seems like, oh, okay, well, surely it doesn't do a lot of damage then. Well, that's where you're wrong. So nonetheless, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, let's get into it. And I do want to let you guys know that I just made a full-length analysis, draft analysis, and in-game analysis of OG versus Nigma Game 2. On top of that, I made a full draft analysis of that series as well. So there's 2 draft analysis and 1 in-game analysis on the website. Those will never come to YouTube, so if you're looking to get a content that's going to help you get to the next level and understand Dota on a higher level, as well as just have a good time, click the link down below. Honestly, it's really worth it, guys. There's even a refund policy. Like, if you don't like it for whatever reason, it's not expensive. If you don't like it, you can just get a refund. So go try it. I really do think it's a worthwhile investment. It's going to save you a lot of time, and now let's get into the video. Alright, so let's get into the ins and outs of how to play Brood, because yes, this hero, to be fair, is not good at level 1. Good players will pressure Brood at level 1, so if you're playing against Brood, pressure her at level 1. But getting back to the point, yeah, you just really need to play extremely defensive. So the way that you're going to do that is you're going to place your webs, make sure that they cover the tree lines. If you can't juke into the tree line with the webs, then you've placed them terribly wrong. It's pretty hard to place them in a way that can't reach the trees, but you'll see his game plan, very simple. Pull aggro, and then juke into the trees. And it's kind of a rinse repeat of this. Then once Phoenix comes into the right side of the trees, 33 is going to go to the left and pull down. And you're going to rinse repeat this until you manage to try to pull some of the creeps off the wave. And you're going to see aggro, 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 aggro. If he doesn't do this, he won't get any CS against good players, obviously. And so make sure, please make sure you do this, or at least you have a hero that can help you zone the position 4 or position 5. And then, at level 1, it's like, oh, I'm going to kill the Brood. I'm going to pressure him out of the lane. He's not going to be able to lane. Yeah, joke's on you. Full heal. And yeah, this is why the hero's just so simple. I mean, you can't get it wrong. Just don't die at level 1, and you basically will never die. Yes, stun combos can kill you. You're not that tanky early on, but you can juke into the trees. You're really fast. And yeah, make sure you also pick with a position 4 that doesn't need to sap a lot of XP. Typically, roamers are pretty good, shakers, spirits, just because they can drag the first wave for you and then completely leave. And you can imagine why that makes the laning stage good for Brood. Moving ahead to the 7-minute mark, you want to have your W just about maxed out. He actually leaves it at 3 points. But you want to go Mana Boots, Soaring. This hero uses an ungodly amount of mana. Every single spell it has is inactive, and therefore you will run out of mana if you don't buy these items. After you get your spawn spiderlings, you're going to use them off cooldown. You want to spread your webs into the jungle, make sure they cover multiple camps. So you can see his here, he's got 1 other tier 1 to dive, 1 in the lane, 1 defensively in the lane, and then 1 on this camp. After, he has his spawn spiderlings and the lane develops, he'll even start to shove his spiders into this jungle, and because you have a lot of points in the web, you can reach these camps as well, and you can imagine why this is so strong. You shut down any safe laner trying to farm this, and you take all the camps and farm them yourself. And it becomes really crazy how fast and how much you can actually farm as you see the Bristle TP in. And yeah, the enemy team, if they do have a Brood counter, is obviously going to send it to you. But this is the funny thing about Brood. There's a Bristle against him. This is 33, by the way, one of the best offlane players in the world. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Now, to be fair, if they don't send a Brood counter to your lane, for instance, we had a DK against a Brood in our DPC match who cannot do anything against Brood because your E does magical damage. If you aren't familiar how Silken Bola works, just to clarify everything, Your Q gives you lifesteal and bonus damage for a duration. Your webs heal you, make you go faster, go through the trees. Everyone knows that. Silken Bola, every single time one of your units attacks, it does bonus damage. And that bonus attack damage is magical. It's magical. And so tanky heroes with high armor, yep, typically they countered Brood. Brood's broken. They don't counter Brood anymore. Unless they can actually kill the spiders, then yeah, they are naturally decent against Brood. It's not a hard to counter, frankly, because you can cut the waves, as we'll see this game. But it's good. It also does damage. It's a nuke as well. It's a 100 damage nuke at level 1. Really good harass for pretty cheap mana. And is slow. And then your ultimate is spawn spiderlings. Now, if a lane counter comes into your lane, all you're going to do, very simple. You're going to jungle, and then you need to pay attention to the clock or your wave, and then cut the wave. If you rinse repeat this in your Brood games, I mean, it's very simple. Either kill the people that you can kill. Even here, he's invading the jungle. He's kicking the Terrorblade out of the jungle. And look at this high armor hero, right? High armor hero typically just eats Brood spiderlings. They wouldn't do much damage, if any, and he just insta-dies. I don't even know what to say. Like, look how miserable this game is for Terrorblade. This is a hero that typically could, ignore Brood to an extent. I'm not gonna say, Brood's good against TB, but TB could at least, for the most part, ignore her. That's completely gone. And then, yeah, do not rotate. Don't try to take the mid tower until you've taken your safe lane tower. Play the game very simple. Get your farm up. Do not rotate. Please do not rotate. It's not good. You need to get your farm up as much as simply possible. You'll shred the tower, as we see there. Continuing to spawn spiderlings, taking all the nearby jungle camps. Obviously, while you're doing all of this, a very important thing to do as Brood is to understand that when people are panicking against you and being like, oh my god, we can't play against this Brood, what you need to do, it's very important, is you have to be looking at the map. And I know that's like basic Dota knowledge, but anytime you're snowballing in Dota, and this is a very important tip, anytime you're snowballing in Dota, what happens is people are going to make desperation plays on you. Desperation ganks is what I call them. And so you need to be staring at the map. This game, they really have like no stun for the Brood. It really is like the freest Brood game, other than the fact that Underlord and Bristle sort of counter you. Not really, because, yeah. Isn't that just kind of sad? Isn't that, guys, I just want you, isn't that a little bit insane to you? This is an Underlord. He nearly killed him from full in a TP duration. Yeah, once you've maxed out your webs, you're going to go into your Silken Bola. That's the second point you're going to take. After that, you want to continue to play this juke and jive. Make sure you're constantly looking to move into the trees. Do not run through people. Once again, if your webs cannot go through trees and up cliffs, you're making a mistake. There's the massive gank I talked about. Very timely to prove a point. But yeah, people will try to respond to you. They're going to say, hey, no one can go top if we don't bring 3 heroes. Do not die to the 3 heroes gank. Do not die to the 3 hero ganks. Just let your spiders die at worst, right? You can even put your spiders on, let's say, the position 5 who's trying to gank you, right? Just kind of like he does to the Phoenix here. Just puts it onto the Phoenix. The Phoenix has to egg. And then you can go back in and build your spiders later. It's not hard to build spiders right now. It's a 9-second cooldown, right? And it spawns 4 of them. It's not hard to build up spiders, so do not feel bad about losing them from time to time, especially if you get multi-man ganked. Obviously don't feed them, but you get the point. Now skipping ahead to the 14-minute mark here, he hasn't made any major rotations. He did shift mid for a short period of time. As you can see, if you see the enemy team all farming bottom, if you've been watching my videos, I always stress how important it is to take this mid tier 1 for map control. On top of that, that tier 1 makes it much easier for you to rosh later on whenever you want to do that. Brood is definitely pretty good at roshing, so keep in mind if the enemy team ever makes one of these plays where they TP bottom, definitely respond. You have to respond. Next thing as well, once you have your E-Blade, and yes, there are some different builds, kind of just have to determine what you want to do, but I will say that I highly recommend build that 33 is about to go. There's some Pipe Greaves build. I recommend if you're looking into different Brood builds, just go check Dota 2 Pro Track or Dota Buff. For now, we're going to talk about this E-Blade build. And the concept here is that you have 2 nukes. Yes, 2. You have 2 nukes. You have Silken Bola, which does 160 damage, Spawn Spiderlings, which does 450, and you have a talent that makes it do more damage. Yeah, so you E-Blade them, and then you cast your nukes, and people explode from half health. They just get removed. And what I really like about this build is it allows Brood to have impact without actually having to have some massive army of spiders. What's even more crazy, I think 33 didn't even really do it here. He ended up bringing his spiders over, which I guess you could technically say is a mistake to some extent. But you can actually split the top side. So he could have sent his spiders over to the top side of the map, pushed in the lane, continued to threaten the top tier 2 tower and farm up in that entire jungle, then ran back over there after the fight ended, and yeah, continued his way through the jungle. And this is how crazy efficient and dominant Brood can be. If the enemy team, like, imagine if they don't have counters, guys. Imagine if you second phase the Brood and the enemy team has no answer. You basically cannot lose unless you feed, because the reality is the hero also scales extremely well. You do not fall off, at least very hard. Skipping ahead a little bit further, let's talk about the items that he's going to be buying. He goes E-Blade into Aether Lens. So you buy the mana boots earlier on, right? And then you can transition it into this later Aether Lens. It's a really, really nice build up, super clean stuff. And the nice thing about the Aether Lens is Brood dies very easily. I mean, like, let's say they have some teamfight spells. If you get caught in them, you don't have any defensive items. I mean, E-Blade, sort of, right? Sort of, depends on the game. But you definitely don't have too many defensive items, so this kind of just allows you to poke and prod from the backline without ever putting yourself in a particularly dangerous position. Talking about dangerous positions, everywhere against Brood, especially with this build, is a dangerous position. For instance, look at this TB. Brood has a 15% cooldown reduction talent as well, which is crazy to note, right? All of these active items that you'll be buying and active spells that you have all get reduced by 15%, which is actually a huge number. That is a massive number for level 15, and you can see in this fight how it gets amplified even more. The E-Blade nuke comes out, and Terrorblade explodes. By the way, he's pretty farm. It's 19 minutes into the game. He's got 2 items. That's pretty decent. He's not like having a god game. That's solid. You can imagine that people in your pubs might even be less farmed. And yeah, he just dies. In this upcoming engagement here, you're gonna see the real comedy that is this E-Blade Octarine Brood. It's very funny, but quite effective. He's basically a magical damage sniper, as we'll see here. So 33 is going to walk onto the hill, get vision, right? Super nice that you can do this for your team, by the way. You can walk onto various hills during team fights to provide a huge damage bonus. But as we see here, ET goes in. He doesn't immediately go for the E-Blade combo. I think he's more concerned about E-Blading this TB and really exploding the TB. We'll have to see what he does, but as you can see, he can continue to kite the outside of the fight, and really, he can just poke and prod and poke and prod. I'm actually even a little bit surprised that he isn't instantly casting and chipping people down with his E-Blade combo, because it is a really low cooldown. 12 seconds, Silken Bola 7, this is 4.5, and by the way, this is a 4.5 520 damage nuke. Just for a little bit of perspective, just because I want you guys to see this, Lion's Finger at level 1 is a 600 damage nuke. Yeah, 600. This Brood, to be fair, you have to be level 18. It doesn't take you very long to get there. It's only 24 minutes into the game. Yes, he is 8-0. I will be honest, but trust me, it's not as hard as you think to go 8-0 as Brood, which sounds insane. But yeah, you just get to this point and you just dish out these massive nukes, which, by the way, you amp with your E-Blade. And for any of these cores that don't have like immediate and direct stuns, Brood just kind of like terrorizes them. I mean, look at this clip here. He's pushing in the mid wave, kind of just constantly shoving in waves, just terrorizing the map, and then yeah, he just finds his TB. Obviously, TB is going to get E-Blade comboed, and yeah, sure, he pops the Manta, he can disengage, but the funny thing about Brood is, once again, you do magical damage with Silken Bola later on. He just chases this guy down, chases him down, throws his Eon to him, and the spiders, even though they don't do too much as he was starting to run out, do quite a bit of damage. And look at this guy. I mean, it's kind of depressing. This TB, if you play it right, has no options. He just gets chipped down, he dies, and he didn't get to hit anybody. And to top it all off, as I am now learning as making this video, the shard on Brood is actually nuts. It really is nuts. Especially against a hero like Terrorblade who has illusions. I mean, this is such a hard counter. It causes Silken Bola, which is, when you have Octarine, 7.7 second cooldown. It causes it to be an AoE. A 500 AoE, which is huge. That's a huge AoE. So now you get this massive AoE, and it increases the miss chance to 80%. I think I even forgot to mention that earlier. It's a miss chance spell too. For 6 seconds. For 6 seconds. You know what also is almost 6 seconds? The cooldown. It's 7.7 seconds. So if they don't have like constant dispels like Troll Ags, they're gonna have an 80% miss chance on a 1.7 second downtime. And yeah, if the enemy team is sort of hard to kill or you ever fall behind, always remember you can split push. Split the map, draw out the game, take dangerous farm, cut waves. That's why I really love Brood right now. When Brood gets ahead, the hero just kind of becomes this stomping menace that solo kills absolutely everyone, including counters, like old counters. Even a hero like Tiny, yes, he can kill your right, he can kill your spiders, but if you play around his cooldowns, you know he doesn't have his cooldowns, he melts, absolutely melts to you. Which was sort of true with old Brood as well, but I don't know, the Silken Bullet to me is just a ridiculous spell. If you have 10 spiders, even at level 1, you're doing 50 extra damage per set of attacks, which, you know, 10 spiders is not a lot. And that's Silken Bullet level 1, so you can kind of see how extreme it can actually get. But yeah, the split push comes out. He even bought a drums, which is pretty hilarious. You can see 33 is an absolute memer. But, you know, as much as I'm saying that absolute memer, I wouldn't be shocked if you go to these items in a pro game. Like, I'm not kidding. I mean, look at the damage the spiders are doing, right? Because he gets the 18 spider attack damage talent. He buys the drums, which then amps the attack speed. And look at this tower. This is the full HP tower. The enemy team tries to take a fight mid, pops the drums. Very cool. It's dead. How long was that? Like 8 seconds? Less? 7? How many seconds was that? So he starts hitting the tower at 29:03. 29:03, pops the drums. Tower dies at 29:11. 8 seconds. Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, it only gets better because eventually at max, you even have a spider's health talent, so the split pushing becomes even better. And look at this range Rex. Yes, it's dead. Now you might be wondering, Speed, but nuke builds like this surely fall off into the late game, right? Yeah, to some extent they do, I'll be honest. This build is definitely optimized sort of for the early game. You can see with this drums that he's going and the talents that he's picking, he's looking to go more of a ratty split pushy build into the late game, right? So clearly he's looking to adapt, looking to switch things up. But at the same time, oh my god, his spider's insta-died. But at the same time, you can buy a Dagon. Because you farm so fast, you can actually afford to buy high levels of Dagon, and you have CDR, right? With Octarine and your Talon. So all of a sudden, this Dagon item, which typically is kind of just bad, is really, really strong with Brood. Because you stay alive, you have a ton of CDR, a Blade Mail, a bunch of nukes as well, and it just makes a ton of sense, and we'll sort of see that as he continues to push in lanes. And when you get good at split pushing, and you get good at reading enemy movements, staring at the enemy map, kind of seeing, oh, they're going bottom, I'll send my spiders top, oh, they're going top, I'll send my spiders bottom. When you get good at this, you just ravage their ability to play the game. I mean, really, they can't, it's so hard to do anything against Brood if you do not have the heroes. Now, I'm like specifically saying that, for instance, if the enemy team has like, I don't know, a Spear Breaker, he's not going to kill your spiders and you can probably ruin him early game. But later on, they can at least catch you. This game, they have no catch for Brood. I said it earlier, I'm just saying it again. They, like, yeah, they have this Pit Lord thingy, but it's not like Pit Lord can do anything to Brood when he catches her. And yeah, just forcing rotation after rotation. Under Alert is like, I have to defend against Brood. ET is like, I have to defend against Brood. And sure, his team is crushing, but obviously he's basically highest net worth. And because the enemy team feels like they have to defend, they get caught out of position, Terrorplate gets abandoned, there's no Stomp to save him, there's no Underlord auras to keep him alive, there's no Underlord Pit, there's no Underlord ulti to get him out. You get the point, right? It's very clear to see the point. Oh my god, what? Was that intentionally kicked him into the queue? What? That's nuts. But yeah, that's going to be all. I just want to show you guys how much damage this combo actually does. He definitely holds the E-Blade combo a little bit more than I would expect. I think it's because he doesn't want to waste mana. I really do believe that that's the perspective, because even there he didn't dag on him, but he does kind of just throw his spells somewhat randomly. And yeah, go pick Brood, guys. I'm going to be practicing this hero a little myself, even though I'm technically have to play safe lane as of now, just for fun. It's a fun hero, not to play against. It's literally miserable to play against. You can imagine why. You get solo killed and there's no hero even killing you. It's just spiders and nukes. You hit almost no one this game, besides the heal from time to time. But okay, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry if this ends up in your pubs and you get like destroyed by it, but the reality is you got to know the meta to gain MMR. You got to play the meta. Not always, right? But it makes it easier, okay? Let's be real. It makes it easier. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I'm out. Peace. And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the GameLeap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.